This path is ridiculous.
All right.
It doesn't fit.
All right. We are live.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
All right. It's been a bit. It's
I
been a
know.
minute.
I
Things
know.
have happened. They're happening. I'm sinking like a stone in fantasy. Try to play at something. Work.
I think since we last potted, the MLS playoffs started. Or the season ended. MLS playoffs started. The Dodgers won a World Series, so I'm repping them today instead of my usual LAFC gear. Um, but yeah, and then a couple weeks of the fantasy, but also that international break mixed in, so didn't miss too much fantasy here.
Yes, a lot of footy. A lot of footy going on. A lot of excitement. I
Should
mean,
we
the
dive
MLS
in?
playoffs.
Should we dive in?
Yeah, let's
All
dive
right.
in. Let's keep going.
All right, all
Oh,
right, all right. We are back with another edition of the Fantasy OO podcast after a bit of a break. As you know, I'm David Bickle, joined with my esteemed colleague, Chris Schwartz. In terms of our fantasy league, during this break, not much has changed. The top four is exactly the same. I will say it's tightened up a little bit. The league as a whole has made up some ground on a slipping James Varas, who has fallen to almost 79K in the world after a brief flirtation with the top 1,000 in the world. So he's kind of come back down a little bit, probably to reality, to probably around the point, maybe where the league winner usually wins. Probably not quite as low as 79K. I think it's usually in like the mid 20-ish is probably like a good goal from a worldwide rank if you want to win the league in most years. But
he's,
without
he's
further,
coming back. He's coming back to his baseline.
yeah,
He sprinted the first mile of the marathon. All
the,
right, he got out to a hot start. You always knew it was going to start to catch him. It was only a matter of time.
The only question is, did he build enough of an edge to kind of stave off some of the competitors? I mean, we're still only 10/38 through the season, so there's still a lot of time left, and that lead is shrinking a little bit. So plenty of
Yeah,
time
look,
for
as
everyone
of
to
right
win.
now, there's three other guys that are within 50 points of him. So that's literally
Yeah,
two bad game weeks, and
yeah,
you're cooked. So
yeah.
like,
Uh,
little Jamesy poo. There's only so long Chalaba can carry you to the promised land. You know what I
well,
mean? Like,
hold that thought because Chalaba's coming back later in the pod in one of our segments with related to James. So just to get some I guess chores out of the way. Like I said, top four is the same: James, Milady, Neil, Bowman, with 665, 629, 618, and 613 points respectively. So those are the four people. I mean, Bowman's 52 points behind James. So basically, four people within 50 points of James. And then Sam Snead sneaks back into the top five at 598. So a bit of a dip there, 15 points between him and Bowman in fourth place. Weekly notables: Glenn winning Manager of the Week, a 96-point banger. 10 points from Caicedo, 9 points from Minta, 10 points from Shaka, and 7 points from Gyökeres after a lot of people ditched him. All those four were on differentials of 15% or less ownership in our league. So well played to Glenn, 96 points to kick off the month of November. A little bit of a shortened month with an international break, so kind of pole position to win Manager of the Month this month. I'm also going to give myself a bit of a shout out. I had the second highest score this week, 87 points. I had made four transfers. I brought in Gehi and Mateta, who had 10 and 9 points respectively. 10% ownership, and Jai scored for me for Everton on Monday. I have climbed up into sixth place, only 5 points behind Snead. So knocking on the door to my usual place in the league towards the top. And unfortunately, on the other side of the coin, Mr. Schwartz was you. 57 points, fell into 16th place, bottom of the pile. and bum of the week. I'm sorry to do that to you. You subbed out.
I just realized that I had the low score of
Yeah.
the week. Oh, well, you know, Captain Holland, and you try something,
You,
then
look,
that's just what's gonna.
you tried something, it didn't work out. You subbed out Zhao Pedro, who
Let
had been a
me say
bum,
on the yeah,
and
Joe Pedro.
yeah,
And don't get me started on this fucking guy. Every single time I have him, he does nothing. Every time I drop him, he's the best player in the world. It's unbelievable.
yeah,
That guy,
yeah. So
unbelievable. I left Caicedo on the bench. That hurt. I didn't captain Holland. I
yeah,
do those two things. It's a solid week.
yeah, that right there, that turns you from like bottom of the pile to like top third of the league. That's how tight everything is in our league this year. Like most of the top five, like I didn't go through the weekly point totals. I talked about Glenn and myself, but like in the top five, James had 69 points, Milady had 68, Neil had 72, Sneed had 71, and Bowman had 77. So basically, like you had 57 if you captain Holland right there instead of Bomo. That gets you what, like another 15 points probably, or 12 points extra. And then you start Caicedo, and that's another 10. So there's 22 points, and your 57 turns into 79, and you're right there, with everybody else. So, this is one of
Umo,
those years where,
6,
like,
9, 15.
yeah,
Nottingham Forest. All right, let's do see some.
yeah, yeah. No, it was a good shot.
Uh,
I mean, I brought in Blumo too this week. I didn't captain him, but I brought him in. I thought he was gonna have a good week. He did not. On to the people who had good transfers of the week. Hawk gets the award for transfer of the week, a plus 11 move. He went Romero to Gabriel, who just continues to score points every single week. Just a beast of a fantasy asset right now. And then
he's the
you
top three captain for me this week.
yeah,
I might as well keep rolling the dice in 16th place. It can't get any worse.
you mentioned James can't keep riding Chalaba. Well, he should have. He gets the bum of the week transfer award this week. He went João Pedro to Sesko for a -7. Then he also went Chalaba out, Mickey Van de Ven in for a -5. Took a hit doing both of those moves. So those net -16. If he had done nothing, he would have had 16 more points than he had. So I'm saying every move he made to start the season went well. Now we're seeing some cracks in the armor.
He had the Midas touch before. Now,
Yeah.
now not so much. More of a bronze, trending to tin.
Yeah. And now we come to my stats of the week. Okay. And this is like a bit of trivia.
That's where we evolved to the crunch of
Crunch of the week.
Get some is coming in.
That's good branding. Maybe
In the meantime, I'll do this.
we should get sponsored by Nestle, the Crunch Bar.
Yes, crunch of the week.
That'll be a goal. The Nestle Crunch of the week. My stat number 1. Can you name me the two top midfielders in terms of both XG and XGI right now in footy, in the Prem?
Ooh, XG and XGI.
It's the same. XG and XGI, they're the same two people.
Oh, same two people. I'm gonna say the top two midfielders.
Yeah.
Oof. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's that dude Anthony from Burnley, or Burnley. Yeah, from Burnley. And then maybe even like a Declan Rice. I don't know.
It is Enzo and Bruno, the Fernandi.
Wow.
The Fernandi. They are the top two in terms of XG, and the rest of the top 5 is Bumo, Gakpo, and Jai.
Wow.
Yeah. Stat number 2 of the week. This is not a trivia question. Erling Haaland, XG this year, 10.18. Oh, by the way, the XG for Bruno and for Enzo, I think it's 4.33 and 4.1. So Haaland's XG is 10.18. Mateta is second with 8.1. No other player in the Prem has an XG of over 4.66. Do you know who has an XG of 4.66? He's on your team.
Oh, then it's probably Voltamada.
It's Thiago.
Thiago. Yeah, that was a rage transfer, I'll be honest. I was like, get this João Pedro off my team. All right, let's just yeah, Thiago. This guy's like costs nothing. He's producing.
Yeah.
Of course, he doesn't when I pick him up, but like Thiago. All right, that's good. Keep it up, Thiago. Keep going.
All right.
Make something happen. Keep somebody.
Final crunch of the week. So this is shifting gears. We were talking about XG. How about expected goals conceded? Can you guess what David Raya's expected goals conceded through 10 games is this year?
Probably like point two.
Not that good. It's 5.7, which is like, but it's an average of 0.57.
That's meant per game.
Well, point per game is 0.57. It's easy math, 0.57. But
okay.
2.4 of that 5.7 total XG came from 2 games. Only 4 out of 10 games this year has Arsenal allowed an XGC of over 0.5. Man U, Liverpool, City, and Newcastle, who they were playing. The other 6 games, teams are expected to score less than half a goal against them. It's unbelievable defensive performance right now in Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, I've just decided I'm going 3 in the back on them. I'm just like I'm just gonna milk those numbers and see if I can't do anything with it. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. Like the Saliba Gabriel combo is as good as it gets from like a center back tandem that we've seen in like a decade.
Yeah.
There's no other like 1-2 punch that like even comes anywhere near. There's always one really elite one, like a Van Dijk, or I mean, I think like who else has like just an absolute stud center back?
City had for like a year, I think they had over
like
Ruben and company.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, but that
was like the end of company's career. Also, it wasn't like prime. It like if Liverpool had been able to get Gahey over the line.
Yeah,
Gahey.
Yeah, and they're talking the same. They're in the same realm. Yeah. But those two are just absolutely elite, and that's what's driving them, right? If you look at Arsenal's game, the fact that the fantasy took away like the scores on like you look at a player, like you don't see the scores anymore. Like why? Like what was the what was that? Yeah, I mean the 1-0, 2 like they blow a couple teams out like every now and then, but they're grinding out those 1-0 games, and that's what it takes. And their defense is so solid. Just get me 1 goal and we'll win this thing. Like it's impressive. They're, as a Tottenham fan, say it always, like, but good for them. Like they're good. They're elite, and they're finally coming good on the promise of like 3-4 years ago. So I wouldn't be shocked if we get into March, April, and they've got like a 7-point cushion at the top, just because of their defense being. If they stay healthy, they can be very, very dangerous this year.
And then here's my other stat. I was just thinking about this while we were talking, and I just looked it up. But David Raya has made 16 saves this year. 7 of them came in game week 1 against Man United. So he has 9 saves in the 9 other games this year. He's not even playing, like, you can't even say, is he playing well, is he playing bad? You have no idea, because he's just not. Their defense is so good that they don't even. He's not even tested.
He's back there with a chaise lounge and some tea, just hanging out.
To some extent, you have to give him credit for like still getting all these clean sheets. Because for when Ederson was in goal for City and they would have runs like this, where like he would get tested like 1 shot a game, he'd concede the shot. Like, he'd just be so bored back there that he was giving up goals every game. Raya's staying focused and able to keep the ball out of the net, but. He's never gets you save points. Like all season, he hasn't had, except for that first game against Man United, he hasn't gotten a save point the entire season. But he's picked up, I think 7 clean sheets.
6. Yeah, he got it. The first game he got 3 bonus in the first game for a 10-pointer.
Yeah.
Since then, his max has been 6, but
And in that 10-pointer, he got a yellow card.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, like, yeah, he hasn't picked up a bonus point. I think he's been on the verge a couple times. He's been like just outside of the bonus, but yeah, no bonus points outside of the first game. No save points for you. But he's gotten so many clean sheets. He's still behind Rofs in total points in the fantasy, but barely now. So he's trying to overtake Rofs for top of the pile and as a goalkeeper. But yeah, it's just
he'll overtake him this weekend.
yeah,
making my prediction right there.
they're playing each other, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I think Arsenal beat them. He gets them. Yeah. Unless he gets an ungodly amount of saves, very well good. He might even get some DEFCON somehow. Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, those were the crunch of the week, the Nestle crunch of the week.
2 weeks ago when I left Van de Ven on the bench, the problem was I was going to bench boost that weekend, and then I didn't. And then I left him on the bench, and then I watching that game, I'm just like, huh. Yeah. And you start, like, the instant thing you do then is, like, you start looking around, like, who's injured? Who's not? Who's going to sit? Who's going to not? And then it's like, you know what? If somebody doesn't start and then comes on in, like, the second half, it's way worse than them just starting. So it's like, everybody's just going to start. There's just no way. Like, just the points are gone, give it up, move on.
That happened
for
Tijani owners this last week. He didn't start and came on in the second half just to like a miserable 20-minute cameo for a 1-pointer for his owners, which I am no longer part of the Rangers bandwagon. I dropped him off as part of my move to bring in Bumo as well as Teta and company. So.
Yeah. And our friend Phil Foden. I mean, I will say, if I were to go into some advanced crunching and what my players do in Champions League versus what they do in the Prem, it makes you want to vomit, because I'm just like, my guys are firing in other areas, just not here. Yeah. Not so much here, not so much here, but here and here. They're just banging them in.
Foden's a tough one. I've got a decision to make in the next, 8 hours or 10 hours before I go to sleep. The fantasy turns over overnight.
They play Liverpool, Newcastle the next 2.
Yeah, and I've got enough money to go Foden to Saka, and he plays Sunderland. So it feels like a pretty obvious move, especially there's rumors that Gyökeres is out, which is like guarantees Saka on penalties. But Saka also hasn't been great this year, so it's like, is it worth investing 10 million? I mean, I have the capital for it right now. We'll see. It's probably the move I end up making later tonight, but we'll see. It was a nice run. Foden had some good underlying stats, and if he ends it with an assist and a 4-pointer for me with a yellow card, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It's not like I was debating between him and someone else who had a ton of points. He just a little bit unlucky for Foden ownership post wild card.
It's like buying clothes, right? You buy something, you want it to last. You want it to you want to own it and wear it and like it, and then it sticks around with you for years to come. But if you buy something, falls apart, you got to go buy more shit. Now you're like, well, that sucks. It's like, I look at him like a shirt that's ripped, and I need a replacement because it's just nothing. There's nothing there that I like. I don't like looking at it anymore. I just want to cast it aside.
And it was a cool shirt that you thought it could be a cool shirt that not many people have, right? So it's like, ooh, you wear it and you're like, oh, people come up to you and be like, ooh, Schwartz, that's a cool shirt. I like that. And just
you're like, it is a cool shirt. What? Check it out. Look how this works. Walk up to a bunch of girls and they go, stupid shirt.
You got a stain. It's got a big stain on it, man. What's that stain on your shirt?
Hole in the armpit. You're like, do I? Shit, I gotta get rid of this thing. No, it's not old. It's not gonna be Old Faithful. It's not gonna be What's the Seinfeld shirt that he wore forever, Mr. Goldie or Baby Bluey or something like that, that you keep around forever?
It's more like the pirate shirt that he wears in the Tonight Show.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Moving on around the Prem. This one was a very, very the last game week, I would call it like a very chalky game week. Arsenal beat Burnley 2-0. Gabriel and Rice were the fantasy standouts. Rice with a goal, 3 bonus, and DEFCON. Gabriel, clean sheet, assist, 2 bonus, DEFCON, and a yellow. So Burnley couldn't really muster anything up against Arsenal. Like you said, Raya, no save points for him. Gyökeres doesn't score. So just kind of, I guess.
Game personifies like the season that we're having, though. It's like Declan Rice is like a beast in fantasy. Like Caicedo, beast in the fantasy. Like you got Gravenberch is like doing well. Points by Xhaka, Paulinho. Like these are like D mids. These are positions that weren't. I guess that's the whole point of. No, but it's not. You could like try to anchor it on like DEFCON, but they're actually like, producing. Like they're scoring. There's like goals and assists. Like this is what's getting them there.
Rice and Caicedo, who like I would have never dreamed of owning them last year, are the second and third highest scoring midfielders. And to your point, they're doing it with like Rice has 2 goals and 4 assists in 10 weeks. Caicedo, I guess, has what does he have? He has 3 goals and 1 assist. So yeah, they're getting DEFCON, but like that's not the majority of where the points are. It's like the bonus on top of it's the cherry on top of the sundae of like Rice with 6 goal involvements. Did he even? I bet he didn't have much more than that all of last season. I got to go look at that. I guess last year he had 11 total, 4 goals and 7 assists over the course of the entire season. But that's like one every 3.5 games. It's one every 3.5 games, and now he's getting one every other game.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the top midfielders, you have to get down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Salah's in 6th. He's the only double-digit point value player in the top 10, easily.
I mean, he's the only one. I guess Bomo started at 8.0, but like it's not even double digit. I mean, there aren't that many double digit midfielders to begin with, but even like the upper middle class, I'd say, of like the midfield tier, like Semenyo is 8.1, but he started at 7. I'm pretty sure he's gone up 1.1. Boma was at 8. He's at 8.4. So like those guys were like the top of the middle. And other than that, it's all guys under 7. Like Rice 6.8, Caicedo 6, and Jai 6.5. Like they're all under 6 and under. Like
yeah, it's crazy. And that's what's making picking players so hard. Like your instinct over years and years of playing the game is premiums. Then you filter in, you dust in a 7 and a 6 and a 5 to like round things out. But right now you're playing whack-a-mole with a bunch of 5s and 6s, and the premiums aren't doing anything.
Well, that's why I'm like kind of hesitant about bringing in Saka. Like, should I have 2 transfers. Should I go Foden to Saka, or should I go Foden to like Minte and then use that money and take one of my defenders and bring in like Timber or Saliba and just like go like triple Arsenal defense? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just pushing the chip in and at this point and just being like, you know what? I'm going to sink or swim on the Arsenal defense. And I think I'll win out over the majority of games. I think I'll win out there this season. But, you can get those hauls from another midfielder and diversify. And so 1 goal against and I'm hosed. So it's like.
It's kind of just it's just messing with my mind, to your point of like, I'm just so conditioned in this game. And I kind of feel like this is where like James has had an advantage of like kind of coming into the league new and like not realizing like, oh no, like this isn't normal for like Caicedo to be marking every time.
Or even like,
ignoring some of ignoring some of these premium players who have just Like our teams have been built on their and ridden on their backs for 10, 15 years of playing the fantasy. It's like, oh no, I'm going to get the expensive midfielders and they're going to outscore the DMs who touch the
Yeah.
ball in the box one time a game. Uh,
Yeah.
and this hasn't happened yet this season, but I feel like that's going to come, and like especially now, like Palmer's still out. He's going to come back for Chelsea. So like, I don't know. It just feels like we might see some things come around on that. Speaking
I think
of,
yeah, over time those premiums tend to they tend to level things off. Right now, with Salah's not really doing what Salah normally does. I mean, he's gotten a few marks the last few games, but it's always like garbage time. I feel like it's not this whole season he's been garbage time.
yeah,
It's never been pivotal
well,
like early on. It's just sort of like end of the game he bags one. That
and he cost 14.2. I mean, he was 14.5 million to start the season, and I think Holland was 14.0, right? So like you basically were deciding between the two of those, and that's how you can't compare like a 14.2 million dollar Salah to a 6.8 million dollar Rice. Like you can get 2.5 Rices for one Salah, and Rice is outscoring him. Like, and even though Salah's getting some of the marks, he only has one 10-point haul all
and
season.
that was
And it was
last weekend.
the last game
Yeah.
against Villa. Like other than that, he had gone like starting from game week 1, it was 8, 5, 3, 9, 5, 2, 2, 2, 6. And like you compare that, and you can only compare him to the guys on his level, which was Holland, who over the same time had a 13 pointer, a 9 pointer. He had 3 double digit hauls, or 4 double digit hauls, an 8 pointer, and 2 9 pointers up until last week. And then he had another double digit haul. So like,
1,000 goals.
yeah, I mean, Holland has 98 points in 10 weeks. He's averaging a double digit haul a week. And Salah has 1 all season. So, yeah, unbelievable.
You know what you shouldn't do? You shouldn't captain Bumo.
Yeah, I mean, that was tough. Like, you rolled the dice. Like,
Like
it was,
Bournemouth, I mean Bournemouth. Here's the thought, bro. Bournemouth have been like a stingy team,
yeah.
like we'll see. And then okay, you live and learn again. You roll the dice, you crap out. All right,
I mean,
let's
and
build
that's
back.
what you go against this week, right? It's like, okay, City are on the road to Liverpool. Holland typically, I don't think he's scored a goal in the Premier League at Liverpool. So it's like not an easy place to play. At the same time, our entire league, I think except for you last week, captained him. And so like the downside of not captaining him and him blanking is pretty low, right? There's like not much downside if everyone's captaining him and he doesn't do anything. The downside of not captaining him if he does something is enormous, as you felt last week. But then the downside of captaining somebody else is pretty high if they can do something. So it's like you're weighing that this week. There's not I mean, Saka's probably the most obvious other captain, but like Sunderland haven't been bad. Like their goalie's been the best goalie in the league fantasy wise. So that's like it feels like
I'll take a nil.
feels like a better fixture than it is. So I'm probably gonna just keep it on Holland because, like you said, like he had a brace in the first half against Bournemouth. That was gonna be the next game I talked about anyway. City won 3-1 against Bournemouth. 2 for Holland, full bonus. Ryan Cherki got the start over Rangers. He had 2 assists and 2 bonus. That could be one to monitor if you have a City spot on your team. Most people do. Like we said, Foden finally marked with an assist, but got a late yellow, which cost him potential bonus. Another note for that game: Tyler Adams with the goal and a bonus point for Bournemouth. USMNT, I think captain when it comes to the World Cup next year. If it's me, that's my captain. He had a nice performance for Bournemouth. He's a sneaky fantasy guy because he didn't against City, but most weeks he gets DEFCON. Bournemouth have been pretty stingy Adams doesn't cost very much, so like he's gonna get you like most weeks. His baseline's like 3 to 4 points because he gets lots of yellow cards, with the like occasional 5 pointer if they get a clean sheet, and then double digit haul when he can score goals. So it's interesting, and he's playing well, which is good for the U.S. men's national team.
Did he get called up? I can't. I gotta. I well, obviously gonna touch on that a little bit later. I gotta.
I didn't know that they announced that for next week yet. I think they do that, or did they? I know
I think
that
they
they
did.
said I saw Pulisic was not gonna.
Reina returns. That was like one of the
Okay.
things
Oh, they
that
did it.
Reina
Oh,
got.
they just did it.
But
Yesterday.
McKinney,
Yesterday.
Pulisic and McKinney are out.
Yeah, yeah. Yesterday they announced it. Um, Rayner recalled McKenny not. Oh, okay. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Moving on in the Prem, like I said, very chalky. Pool beat Villa 2-0. Not much there fantasy wise. I mean, Salah had a goal, 2 bonus, his first 10 pointer of the season. I guess defensively, Liverpool finally kept a clean sheet, I guess, is the silver lining there. But again, I think most people have been off of those assets. Um, Chelsea squeaked out a 1-0 win over Tottenham on the back of João Pedro. Just complete insult to injury for you. I also transferred him
Yeah.
out, but like you transferred out your asset. He scored against your team. You got full bonus. This like complete like just not.
And you benched Caicedo.
Yeah.
So I didn't see the game because I was in Los Olivos for a wedding. But by all accounts, Tottenham were horrific. They were just absolute hot urine in that game. So I think the game could have been much worse than what it was. Um, and as a Kudus owner, that's fun, because
It,
just another guy who I picked up and just did squadouche the entire time that I've owned it.
the XG in that game, the Tottenham Chelsea game was 3.68 to point 0.1. So
Yeah, point one.
yeah,
Point one. What are we doing? Like, are we trying, lads? Come on.
it's,
What is that?
it's,
Crazy.
and I guess the silver lining is the point 0.1 all came from Kudus.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't mark.
Pack your shit, Kudus. You're gone. You're out of here. Already off my team. Bye. That means, let's see. We got Man United this weekend. Great, but he's got a flag on him.
Yeah, he's
That
got.
was
Yeah,
also
he's a yellow.
with
Dark
part
yellow.
rage. It was a 1-2 punch. It was stink in the flag. All right, you're gone. See ya.
And yeah, like you said, Caicedo a 10 pointer, an assist, 2 bonus, DEFCON. Nothing of note on the Tottenham side, fantasy wise, with a point 0.1 XG and a 3.68 XGC. I guess Vicario had 8 saves. But
It's our
again,
best player, which means it always means your team sucks when your goalie is legitimately your best player game after game after game after game.
And if you're spending 5.1 on a goalie, like you probably should have just spent 5.5 and gotten Raya a few weeks ago. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, we'll move past that. No need to pour more salt in the wound. Man United are next up on my list. They got a 2-2 draw against Forest, the first, I think, Prem game with Sean Dyche at the helm for Forest. It halts Man United's 3-game win streak across all comps. I think the only notable fantasy asset was Bruno, had an assist and marked across both teams. We both brought in Bumo. Of course, then Dyche becomes the manager. They become a little bit better defensively. Bumo blanks. But I still like him from the long-term perspective. I think Forest could be really interesting with Dyche as man. They're going to get a ton of unless something's changed, he's going to figure out a way to get them some clean sheets. So their defensive assets become pretty ownable, I think, once their fixtures turn a little bit. I think they still have, I want to say, 1 or 2 more tough games in the next 5. And then I think it gets decent for them. They have Liverpool, they have Leeds this week, then Liverpool, and then Brighton, which isn't like an easy game. Then they go Wolves, Everton, Tottenham, Fulham. Before then, they hit City in 18, and then Everton, Villa, West Ham in 19, 20, 21. So after game week 12 against Liverpool, they've got like a pretty decent run for 8 of the next 9 fixtures, which could be interesting if you're looking for some cheap defensive assets to bring onto your team.
Yeah, and that Anderson is a DEFCON monster for Nottingham Forest. He's literally had double-digit DEFCONs in every single game. It's pretty wild. Like, I mean, he's not getting a whole lot. He's one of the outliers that doesn't score. He's getting the DEFCON, doesn't score. But if you look at United, right? Like Casemiro, all of a sudden is like he's 2015 Casemiro for Real Madrid. He's 1-1 the game prior, scored the last game. He's got 17 points in his last 2 Prem games.
Yeah.
And he's cooking again. And you're kind of like, all right, another D mid 5-5. Like, am I picking this guy up? Oh no, let's get Cunha. Let's get Sesko. Let's get Bumo. They're on fire. No. It's a midfielder. It's a D mid.
I did just look up. Anderson does, like, I know it's been 10 games, so these aren't like great on a week to week basis, but he does have 0.8 total XG and 1.3 total X assist. So like 2.1 expected goal involvement. He only has 1 assist, so he's kind of underperforming against his underlying stats. So could be a shout if if your baseline's 3 or 4 points as like a 5.0 midfielder, 5.3 now I guess it's might be something where if you're gonna, especially with that run where they're gonna get a bunch of clean sheets, he's gonna get DEFCON and you're gonna get 5 points. So it's the same as like getting an assist from somebody at that point.
Yeah.
So it could be one to monitor. And then last, I think the last from the top 6 is Palace. 2-0 win over Brentford. Jean-Philippe Mateta with a goal and full bonus. Mark Gahey, a clean sheet, DEFCON, and 2 bonus. Palace still seem to be like a pretty good team to target fantasy-wise. They're still like relatively undervalued and performing. I think a lot of people like Lacroix at as a defender, another 5.0 defender who's pretty good and putting up some numbers. Sarr at midfield, 6.6 could be a good Kudus replacement if you're looking there. They got a good run of fixtures coming up with Brighton, Wolves, Man United, Burnley, Fulham in the next 5, and then City in that great one.
We have the brace in Europe over yesterday.
And even in the fantasy, like he had his last 5, he went 11 against Poole, 7 against Everton, and then 2-2-3 his last 3. So he is a streaky guy to own. I feel like I owned him a bit last year, but it could be another player to target from Palace who seem. And you have Chris Richards who's been solid on as a defender for them. He doesn't really get up in the goals much, but he's 4.5 and he has 44 points on the season in 10 games. So if you're getting you're getting 1 point per million spent on a guy every week on average. That's pretty good. It's the equivalent of getting 14 points from Holland every week. So from a budget perspective, so
I just keep waiting for Guehi to like chill out, but he doesn't. He gets an assist, he gets bonus, he's just an absolute monster this year. It's unbelievable. Like he gets an like even like he had an assist in their European game, and it's like, who is this guy? He's like he does it all.
Yeah, and he's always around. He's always hovering around the bonus too. Like even if he doesn't like get it, he's like just outside of it. He's been getting like his DEFCON. He started out slow this year, but in his last 5 games, last 6 games, he's gone 10, 11, 10, 6, 10, 12. So 5 of the last 6 games, he's gotten DEFCON for Palace in the Prem. So
Richard's got to step it up. I mean, you got that fro, dude. Get the ball on that thing. Let's get it in the back of the net, pal. Drop Munoz for him, and he's literally Munoz has had a few marks, and Richards has gone like 3-3-2. You're like 6.
Richards has been unlucky the last 2 weeks. So his last 6, he's gone 17, 13, 10, 15, 9, 8. like 9-8. Like that's just like
Yeah,
bare. Like
right
you
there.
just get your head on one more corner kick that comes in on defense, and that's another 2 points for you. So
There's nothing like you're watching the end of a game, you see your players like one def con away, and you're like Kramer in the bookie, just like,
send it
come
in,
on, do something on defense, do it, throw your body in there,
and you're just
and like
rooting.
anything.
You're just rooting for the other team to just whip in the cross, whip in the cross.
Yeah, do something, please. I need the points.
Yeah,
Which I guess adds a fun little element to it if you're tracking those things.
100%,
You
100%.
know, find yourself, grind. I'm out there grinding tackles and headers. That's where it's come down to full beg mode in terms of points.
Anything
Fun.
else? I had nothing else on last week in the Prem. Do you have anything else on the Prem?
No, I mean, again, I was up at a wedding, so I think it was interesting that West Ham came out and spanked on Newcastle.
Yeah,
Like, it's like sort of right. Every year, I feel like you're trying to look for who are the teams that you can stack up against and push chips in on. And West Ham were looking like that team for many, many weeks, and then they come out and they handle Newcastle, a strong side, 3-1. You're like, it just makes you think, like, who are West Ham, right? Like, are they the team that I can push the chips in on? Because otherwise, like, for a minute it was Villa, and then Villa would come out and like get a result. I think at the end of the day, it's Wolves. Like,
it's
Wolves
Wolves.
are like they are like the weakest team in the league, and they're the ones that everyone's going to try to go against. Because like Leeds are solid, and yes, they did lose 3-0 to Brighton away. They're going to have those games, right? But they are a solid side. Burnley have been stingy. You know, like Forest looked like they were dead to rights, and now they've kind of got rid of the manager, got rid of Ange, not the manager, got it Ange, goodbye. And now they've kind of righted the ship a little bit. And West Ham, okay, still out. We're still trying to figure that out. But Sunderland and Everton, the other two that you would think might be a little on the weaker side. Sunderland are strong. Everton can produce results. They have some good players. So really, it comes down to like you're pushing the chips in on Wolves and potentially a West Ham TBD. But I know we always talk about like the top tier, but obviously from a fantasy perspective, you look at the top tier and who's going against the weak, so that you can just shove chips in, and try to haul on the weekend. So that's what I'm kind of looking at this week is like, all right, who has a good run of fixtures, obviously, but for those of us down rank, we got to look for some upside and some upside quick. So might be doing something around this Wolves Chelsea game.
Yeah, I think it's Wolves. They're not great. Sunderland has been Sunderland have been good because they I think they've been outperforming their expected goals conceded a little bit. Forest has not been great. But again, they have Dyche now, so you never know. And then West Ham and Burnley have given up some. But then Burnley at home is different than Burnley on the road, just like Leeds at home is going to be different than Leeds on the road. So
Yeah, and like Brentford, you would have thought Brentford would be dead to rights. Like they lost Bumo, they lost Norgard, who's the guy they lost to Arsenal.
Yeah,
Lost their manager. You would have thought they're gonna struggle, but no, they're a stingy side as well.
yeah, 100%, 100%. Okay, moving on to what might be our favorite segment, the Mick Tom Minute. It wasn't a banner week for the Mick Tom Minute in Champions League in midweek. I believe, and this is, I will blame Chat GPT if this is wrong, but I believe the only ex-Man United player to score this week in the midweek was one Alejandro Garnacho for Chelsea, who scored a big goal for them. They almost lost to Karabag. I don't even know how you say that. It's probably not.
Karabag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always joke that they're the team that has the train that's running.
Yeah.
You remember that image that the train runs through the stadium?
Yeah. But Garnacho scored against them to salvage a draw for Chelsea. That's his second goal in the last 3 games for Chelsea. So starting to find his footing there as he makes kind of a put. I saw that he's been impressing Maresca, so it seems like he might get some more regular playing time. So if you're looking for a Kudus replacement and you think, "Ooh, Chelsea is a good team to have this week," and you want to roll the dice on someone who has kind of been performing for them at the midfield, it could be Garnacho. If you want to make a play for him this week, it could be a good one.
But also, Mr. Anthony himself bagged a brace over the weekend against Mallorca.
Yeah.
And this week in the Europa League against Lyon, bagged another one. This guy couldn't buy a bucket in the Prem. He has gone to Betis, and he is a point machine for them. But he was awful for United. He was awful.
I think we both at times like dipped our toe into the Anthony experience and had him on our fantasy teams, and like you'd tune into a United game and he'd be like basically out of bounds on the wing, like barely in the field of play. Then he'd get it, he'd cut inside and he'd launch a 40-yard rocket. And that was it. That was like, oh, if it goes in, it goes in. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Or like maybe I can trick them by thinking I'm not on the field because I'm playing so wide and I can sneak behind him and I'd have a one-on-one. But he was so bad, so awful to own. Like this one is just a complete shocker to me that he just can't stop scoring. That's why I believe in the McTom theory of like you leave United and you get rejuvenated, because of a guy like this, he couldn't score if the goal was the side of the ocean and he was on the sinking Titanic. He couldn't score a goal for United. And now he goes
like down and landed on a piece of driftwood and like never touched the water somehow. Yeah. It's fun though. Every single weekend I look at all those games just to see if he does anything, if McTominay does anything, if Højlund does anything, and it's a real dopamine hit to be like, boom, they did it again. McTominay does it. Like McTominay hasn't had one. He bagged one against Inter like a couple weeks ago. Hasn't done anything the last like 3 games for them, but man, when he scores, it's great. When Anthony scores,
Rashford looked like he hated football last year.
He looked as though he was on his way out. Yeah. Like he was like Jack Wilshere, like just gonna get fat and say fuck it and I'm out of here and that's it. And the guy is a machine.
It's a legit question. Does he have a shot to make the England World Cup team now?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I would say pre this season, absolutely not. Like he's so far down, you can't even find the guy. Yeah. But he's scoring and getting assists in every single game for Barca.
Yeah, it's
more or less. Like I don't know in the Champions League if he got an assist. He didn't score. Fermin Lopez got an assist. No, he didn't do anything in Champions League.
He's having a great season.
But he's having a great season. Like I think over the weekend he scored again for them, against Elche. He bagged one. Bagged another one.
He has 6 goals. So last year he played 44 games for United, and in the season before he played 38. So 44, 30, 82 games. He played in the previous 2 seasons for United. He had 18 goals. And this year, in 15 games, he has 6 goals. So he's getting a goal every like 2.5 games instead of a goal every like 6 games, essentially 5 or 6 games. So he's basically doubled his scoring rate this year, and that doesn't even count assists. I'm not even looking. That's just goals only.
And he's had a lot of assists as well.
Yeah.
So he's completely reborn. Like when you first heard that transfer, you're like, on what planet does the state of Marcus Rashford fail upward to a Barcelona, leaving the sinking ship that is United? And I was like, what is going on here? But then you read the articles on Hansi Flick, and over the summer he's like, get me Marcus Rashford. So Marcus Rashford's rejuvenation is owed solely, obviously the player's got to do it himself, but Hansi Flick plucked him and rescued him from the sinking ship. And has revitalized his career.
I just forgot this. They loaned him to Villa for the last half of the season last year. I completely forgot that. and
Yeah.
Villa wouldn't pay 40 million for him, which is what the fee was. And they said, no, you can kind of have him back. And then, yeah, Barca came in for $30 million. I guess it's a season long loan, but I'm sure they're gonna pay the 30 million at the end of it to buy him. But they really couldn't even sell him. They were loaning him out with options to buy, not even like guaranteed buy, from a guy who was like their wonder kid 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if those 6 goals are those counting Champions League as well?
it
Is
might
that
just
just La Liga?
be. It might just be.
'Cause he said 2 braces in Champions
No,
League
it's
already
got to
this
just
year.
be in the league play. No, it is because he has 4 goals in Champions League and 2 goals in league play.
He has a few assists on top of that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
anyway, he's reborn. The guy's
I think
producing.
6 and 15. It's every 2.5 games. He's scoring a goal, and then plus this assist. Like, yeah, he's gonna be a factor for England, I'm sure. Uh, come
Well, like you gotta think from his perspective. Like he was put out to pasture.
his career was over. He went to Villa on loan and like didn't even like he
Yeah.
was not good enough for Villa to be like, oh yeah, no, we want you. And then he goes to Barca and is a key part of their team.
Confidence through the roof again. Like a player loses confidence. It's evident in every step over, every move, every shot, every decision. You can like see a player who doesn't have confidence. And like for him now, doesn't have to be the man. He can just slot into that system and produce when he needs to. It's big. It's big for him. It's big for England. It's obviously been good for Barca as well.
He didn't make their 2024 Euro team. Like that's how bad things have, like was a
Yeah.
pretty big contributor for them running like up through the 2022 World Cup and the previous tournaments prior to that. Um, and then was just disappeared, didn't even make their Euro team, and I think now is probably has a good chance to make their World Cup team. So, but I mean, it's probably his last. I mean, you gotta think it's his last World Cup. He's, how old is he? He's
Well, you gotta
28,
you
so he's probably
look
not
at a
gonna
guy
make
like
another one because he relies
right.
on
Like you
speed.
look at a guy like him and somebody who's fallen off.
Yeah,
Right? Like if you've fallen off when you're younger, there's a higher likelihood you're gonna fall off again as you age,
yeah,
right? So like you got to think like this really is, unless he all of a sudden finds religion and just becomes super centered and grounded and like and has this evergreen next like 6 to 8 years into his like mid 30s, he's probably gonna fall off again in time.
Oh,
But
especially a guy who's relied more on like athleticism than like pure technical ability. He's not like a Kevin De Bruyne who's like pinging passes that are just like on a fucking platter for people. He's been more like, oh, I'm fast, and not to discount his technical ability. He's like really good on the ball with his speed. But that's going to be the first thing that goes as you
yeah,
kind of
his
cross the
whole his
30.
whole game is pace and
Yeah,
power, and that
yeah.
those are two things that are fleeting with time.
Like you don't beat time. That's one of the things. Like age is going to
Unless you
defeat everybody one day.
what is the equivalent of learning like a low post move like Michael Jordan, right? You can't fly high anymore, so you get low in the post and you figure out like a good low move. Like what could he?
I
He's not a
guess
point. He's not the hand. He doesn't have like doesn't have the skills and the touch to be some sort of like point man who can just lay the ball in. He holds everything up, lays it off. Like that's not his style.
yeah. So yeah, but again, like he's gonna if he can make this World Cup team, he'll have played in like 3 World Cups, which I think is pretty impressive for anybody, and 3 World Cups on a team that has had a good chance to win all 3 of those World Cup. I mean, who knows what England's gonna do here next summer, but they've got to be one of the 4 favorites going in, and they have had 2 really good performances in the prior 2 World Cups. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, credit to the guy. Like he had a bad stretch, and he has pulled himself out of the fire, and I love to see it. You like to we love to talk a little shit here and there, but at the end of the day, you want players to do well. You want players to succeed. You don't want to see people failing at that level because the press is ruthless nowadays. Like if you weren't good back in the day, you were good for a minute, you kind of fell off. Whatever, you just became like a folk hero. Now it's like now you just get ridiculed all day long and abused online all day long, and it's toxic and terrible. So I'm happy for the guy to be able to do what he's doing. Right, fun to watch.
Especially coming from United, right? Like especially being a like a former United guy and rejuvenating his career outside of United is going to make both of us pretty happy. So we'll definitely,
Yeah.
give him his flowers and his credit coming, from the abyss and reemerging on the other side. It's like Andy Dufresne crawling through a tunnel of shit to get out of Shawshank Redemption, and then he finally leaves United, and the rain is pouring on him in Barcelona, and he's free at last.
God, better food, better weather, better footy. What a oh, this is incredible. This is incredible. One guy that we kind of forget about in the McTom minute, and I sort of forget about him as well, but I follow him very closely, is Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood is a baller. Like that guy is
Yeah,
very, very good. He is
but
very he scores a lot of goals
he's a
all the time.
different McTown Minute guy because he left United for very different circumstances.
It's a different, but he's McTom minute adjacent
Yeah,
in a way.
it's hard to like he didn't leave United because he wasn't good anymore. He left United like early in his career because of some pretty crappy legal stuff that I think he kind of got away with and he shouldn't have. But he's a very good football player, not a good person. So we'll leave it at leave it at that before we get canceled for our Mason Greenwood takes and don't want to.
Oh, we can talk about it. We can have an opinion on it. It's Jesus. We get canceled for talking about Mason Greenwood. My God.
Good
Idea.
player,
Oh,
good player, bad
oh,
guy. Good player, bad guy. Good player.
yeah, no one's talking about off the field. Down the field. The guy scores goals.
He scores goals.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. I think that'll wrap up our Mick Tom minute and move us into our MLS corner. Like I mentioned at the jump, we are in playoff season. Um, we are in the round of, the round of 16, the final 8 in each conference. MLS is different. If you don't follow it in the conference semi or the conference quarterfinals, they play a best of 3 series over the course of 3 weeks because it's MLS and they don't do anything with any sort of speed. Which means that you have 2 teams, LA and Vancouver, who have swept their opponents and don't play this weekend and don't play for the next 2 weekends because of the international break. So LA beat Austin 2-1 at home 2 weekends ago, and then 4-1 on the road last weekend to advance to the Western Conference semis, where they'll play Vancouver, who swept Dallas, and then, like I said, the conference final will be played. Conference semifinal will be played in 2 weeks because of
Yeah.
great scheduling MLS. It's not like the international breaks aren't on the calendar years in advance, and you just push your playoffs right in the middle of them. It's great. You just continue to impress me with your incompetence.
Yeah, and like I shared with you, I got a memory in my pictures, and it was the final where we both were at, where Bale scored the winner. The final was November 4th,
Yeah.
3 years ago, and here we are. We're gonna wait another 2 weeks until we can have the conference semifinal
The finals
or
December.
the conference semifinal.
The finals
Like that's
December
crazy.
6th. I think 5th or
Yeah,
6th. Yeah, a full
we
month.
pushed a month. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And look, like if you weather-wise, like whoever, like that game could end up being in like a snowy, like we're talking frozen tundra of a final. Depends on who wins, obviously. There's a
Oh,
lot of things that can change that, but you have some crazy weather for that final
I mean,
in December.
Philly is the number one. Like Philly won the Supporter Shield. They're the number 1 seed in the East. Like
You go all the way.
spoiler
You got a
alert!
game.
Before I get there, they swept their opponent. They're like sitting like December 6th in Philadelphia could be the final. Like good luck with the weather there, because like it could, they might not be able to play the game if it's like a complete snowstorm. They won't.
NFL games, they're plowing snow and like in the parking lots are
Yeah,
streets are closed. Like it's just an absolute mess. I don't know. It's just strange to me. And this playoffs feels a best out of three is just a dumb format. Like play home and away. Like we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Home, away, aggregate score. It's a perfectly good model. Like stick to it. The fact that you have to wait, like some teams can close out and hang out, and then another team can play one game every single week for like a 3 week stint, like is nuts. And so like we're as an LAFC, like we're just sitting around waiting. The Whitecaps are sitting around waiting. Like it's like college football when you go to a bowl week,
yeah,
like the bowl weeks, like you finish the season and then a month goes by before they play a game. So like by the time the national championship game used to be played, now there's obviously
yeah.
there's a bracketed format, but in the past, like they'd be sitting around for 4 or 5 weeks until they played the championship game. It's like that's a different season now. Like
100%. And like, I mean, LA already had to do this with the last international break when they had game. Like, LA were in such a rhythm in September, like just completely on fire. They like really figured out how to play together. Then like international break, they have to play games without each other. Then they come back and they get like a pretty crappy performance on the road to close out the regular season with their full team because they're tired and like just getting back to playing each other. They finally like make incremental steps to getting back used to each other against Austin, and now they're back on the bench like waiting for 3 weeks to play again. It's unbelievable.
from a managerial perspective, like
It's hard.
what do you do with that? Like I feel like that's such a because you don't want to just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Like we're at the end of the season here. There's international breaks. There's an international break right in the middle. Like
Right
your
now.
players could get hurt again
Yeah.
in the playoff run. Like it's a joke. I'm sorry. Like it. The more we talk about it, the more annoyed I get. Because like imagine because Buwanga, right? Buwanga's trying to get into the World Cup.
Yes.
So he's got to go all out in those games. So like our best player is going to be pushing himself all the way in Africa, trying to get his team into the World Cup, which would be an amazing achievement for him and his country. And like,
Well,
okay, then he's got to come back. We got an away to Vancouver. Like, oh, we should be resting, hanging, like getting. This should be heads down playoff time. Imagine the NBA playoffs, and all of a sudden we got Slovenia and
yeah.
Spain have to go play each other. It's like, what are we talking about?
It's not only, and like I said, the frustrating thing in all of this is it's not like these international breaks aren't announced and decided long in advance. It's just MLS is so dumb that they just like don't plan for it. And I get that like 80% of the league they're unbothered. It doesn't affect them. But like at this point in the year, these are the best teams with the best players, and the international breaks are going to affect them in the playoffs. And they know that so much that they don't even play the playoff. Like during the regular season, it's such a joke that they just play through the international breaks when no other leagues do. And the playoffs are like, oh no, we can't do that now. It's like, well, then don't have 2 international breaks like in your playoff. It's not hard. You can play a more condensed schedule. It's just, again, it's like, it's all TV. All they think about is like, okay, how can we maximize the number of games on TV for TV revenue from Apple? And it's by drawing out the season, by having less, like, just play a couple more midweek games. Like, these guys are fine. Like, they don't, like,
yeah. Think about this. Our buddy Mikey, manager of San Diego. Let's say Anders Dreyer. Let's say they beat Portland Saturday, right? They advance. Anders Dreyer, their best player, goes and plays for Denmark. Fucking pulls his hammy. Now he's out. And it's like they've had this dream run, and their best player gets hurt before the next round of the playoffs because he has to go play. He's playing for Denmark, which he has punched his way into playing for Denmark. So now that's a big honor for him. He's not a guy who's going to sit out an international call-up because he's just made it there.
right.
And is like establishing himself. Let's say he get hamstring in whatever, but then all of a sudden he's done. And you're like, if you're Mikey, you're like, You must be sitting around waiting for this international break, just praying that nobody.
And it's not even just like, oh, they might get hurt. It's like he's traveling, like going to Europe, right? And then he's playing like in a different, like he's got to like get his mind set. Okay, now I got to play for Denmark. Who's on my team in Denmark? How do I play? Like, what system do we play for Denmark? That's different. Then I got to fly back to the United States, deal with the travel, like not even just getting hurt. It's like there's jet lag. I'm going right back to San Diego, which is on like the far west coast, so the time difference is even worse of a change. I'm playing back with my team, who I like. Maybe I get a couple practices in, 1 or 2 practices in before, but like it's not fair to like the teams that have to deal with this, and it's not like Vancouver doesn't have anybody going. Like they might have 2 guys from Canada that are going, but they're not traveling. Like Canada's not going anywhere for their international break. So yeah.
Yeah, we got like Seb Burhalter. I don't know. We got to get to the. Did he get called up? Let's see. Sebastian Burhalter. Yeah, he did get called up. But still, short flight. Not nothing crazy. He's not going to Europe. You know, like he's just hopping over to the middle of the country where we're doing this camp.
And it's not even.
But
it's not even just.
Like, we're gonna do a follow up pod to this one, and when we do, we're gonna have to monitor injuries and whatnot that happens to the players that are still in during this gap.
It's the thing is though, it's not even injured. Like these are also guys, and I know they're professionals, but like they've now played a full MLS season, right? Like this is like the end of the year. Even just playing like the extra minutes, the extra games, not even with your team, isn't gonna like. I'm sure all these teams they do all the kind of biometric studying, but like as a trainer, like you got to figure out, okay, he just went and played 180 minutes for Denmark and 7 time zones away with a 10-hour flight each way there and back. Like what's his bot? Like even if it's not a hamstring pull, it could be like a dead leg because he got tired from playing too much, right?
General exhaustion.
Yeah.
You know, just mentally, just not as sharp as you would want him to be because he's just tired.
Yeah.
Worn out at the end of the season.
Yeah. Just I guess to round out, that was a lot on scheduling, but like you said, San Diego they dominated Portland in their home playoff opener, and then lost to Portland in penalties. Again, like the other dumb thing about the best of 3 is that they don't even play extra time. It's just like, okay, after 90 minutes, if it's tied, they go to pens. So, like, to your point, if they were playing like home and home, San Diego crushed them at home. I think it was 4-1 or 4-0. I can't remember exactly. And then it was, I think, a 0-0 game at Portland, and Portland wins on penalties. And now they have a winner-take-all game in San Diego that Portland can try to, like, scratch out 0-0 again and then win on penalties and go through with like getting outscored in open play, like in regular time, like 4-1, they could still win the series, which is so dumb.
If it was home and away, and just like traditionally, San Diego won 2-1, then they tied 2-2, so they would have advanced, they would have won because San Diego or Portland scored in the 94th minute, send it to overtime, or it's not to send it to penalties. You know, and like you're like, okay, like sure.
Yeah.
Sure. It's like, well, if you blow somebody out, like if you smoke somebody 3 dick in the first game, like you kill off the tie in the first game. Like that's what you do. It's like, okay, 3-0 doesn't mean anything. You got the win. Win is great. We have that in our back pocket, but as soon as you get up, you might as well just take everybody out and just rest everybody because it doesn't matter.
Well, the thing is, you don't even have to rest them because you get a week between games anyways. Like the home and home's a full week off. It's like, like they could, if you had done a traditional like home and home, you could have gotten 2 rounds in before the international. Like there's so many ways the season could be over by now, and it's not.
And there was literally no reason to do.
No.
It should have been first game Saturday, next one a Saturday or Sunday, and if you needed a third game, Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know, like if you didn't get closed out, boom, midweek game.
Yeah, and then the winner of San Diego Portland will play the winner of Minnesota Seattle. that game's on Saturday. And then the next round after best of three, it's just a one game. It's like you go on the road, you play one game in the conference semis, and then the conference finals. In the Eastern Conference, like I mentioned before, Philly swept Chicago, and will host the winner of Charlotte, New York, which is tonight. And then the Fighting Lionel Messi's hosts Nashville, and Cincinnati hosts Columbus in the Battle of Ohio. Both of those are tomorrow in winner-take-all games. That's the other side of the Eastern Conference bracket. So the MLS's dream matchup of Miami, probably LA, or Miami, San Diego is still alive, which is clearly what they're going for from both a viewership and weather perspective.
Yep. Battle of Ohio is a fun one. You know, you look for those little subtle rivalry games in there.
I haven't paid very close attention to that one, but that could be a real derby. Cincy and Columbus could be some real bad blood between those two teams. I'll have to check in on that one.
I gotta check with my cousin. My cousin lives in Columbus, and he's I gotta check the pulse on that one. But I think there's a bit of a rivalry.
Yeah. Oh, there definitely is. All right. That concludes our MLS corner, and then we have our U.S. men's national team corner. And we said this last time, but there is an international break coming up, and this time we really will do a full international break pod. I did my write-up of my road to 26 for the U.S. We'll have a full breakdown of where things stand there. I already have an amendment I think I need to make to it based on just the last couple weeks. But we'll do that, and then we'll also break down after this round of international break games. All the other confederations will have had their initial round of qualifying, and it'll be into playoffs if the teams aren't already set. So we'll see who's in, who's out, and who's still fighting to make the 2026 World Cup. Like we mentioned before, though, the U.S. yesterday did name their squad in full. Just very quickly, in goal they have Roman Celentano from Cincinnati, Matt Freese from New York, Jonathan Klinsmann, and Patrick Schulte from Columbus. So the Cincy Columbus game could also be a battle for third keeper in the U.S. MNT.
I hope those guys are making bets behind the scenes with each other, shit talking.
In defense, we have Arfson, Dest, Alex Freeman, Mark McKenzie, Tim Ream, Miles Robinson, Joe Scally, John Tolkien, and Austin Trusty. I think Arfson, Dest, McKenzie, and Ream, and possibly Robinson are all probably decent shouts to make the World Cup team. Freeman might be, and then I think Scally, Tolkien, and Trusty are kind of fighting for those last spots.
Yeah, they're looking to make a mark and show something to try and get deep down the roster pickups there. Or they're just waiting for Tim Ream to finally ride off into the sunset. I mean, God, this guy just has alligator blood. Can't get rid of the guy.
For real.
Let's just be old sage in the room.
No, he's gonna be on the team, even if he'll be on the team. I'd be shocked if Ream didn't make the team. I'd be shocked also if he starts, but he'll be the guy that comes on in the 90th minute in a 1-0 game to try to kill time and then make sure we don't do anything stupid in the back in extra time. If we have any 1-0 games. At midfield, we have Tyler Adams, Berhalter, as you mentioned, Aiden Morris, Gio Reyna, which is a surprise, Christian Roldan, Tanner Tessman, and Sean Zawadski. He's on Columbus. Yeah. He's not going to make the team.
Yeah. We don't know him.
Zawad's not going to be there.
But listen, I think it's time for Reyna to show what he's capable of. If you go right back to a Marcus Rashford that we talked about earlier, where it really high highs, bottomed out, and is now having his resurgence, Reina needs to now find. He needs to dig deep and find it because he did have incredible. He had high highs, and it was going really well up until that last World Cup. And so it's been like almost like 4 years of a lull. Which at some point you're just like, well, at 4 years,
Yeah,
is that a lull or is that just who you are? You
that's
know
the
what I mean?
new.
Like, did you speed it and just like shoot like a rocket forever, and then now like this is just who you are? Or like, should we expect anything out of you, or is it just like you're just middle of the road?
Yeah,
So I'll be curious to see how he does. I mean, this is a good test. We're playing the Guays, Paraguay, Uruguay, tough teams.
yeah,
Again, like we've talked about before. Like these are the teams that are going to be like there's going to be in certain groups they're going to be like the second best team in a group, right? So like you got to beat these teams in order to get to go through. And so they're tough. South American, battle tested. Uruguay, very good players. Paraguay, very good players. It'll be interesting to see how we do from like a measurement perspective.
and,
And
and
the last one we showed up, which was great. This is a stern test, and we need to we get blown out twice. It's kind of like, ugh. If we show up, get some results, or just fight, I think that's going to be very telling.
and they're both like more physical South American teams too,
Yes.
which is like
Yeah.
good to see what this. And again, like you look at this group, like defense, it's a lot of the guys. Midfield, it's like not real. Like there only might be three midfielders that make the World Cup. Like I think Berhalter's on the outside looking in. Reyna's on the outside looking in. Zawadzki's not making the team. I'll put my stamp on that right now. And if I'm wrong, I'm very wrong. I don't think. I mean, Roldan's been getting a lot of run with the in these call-ups, but I think he's more just like let's round out the roster for these things. He's local. I don't think he's gonna make the team. And then you have like Tessman and Aiden Morris who are fighting to make the like those two guys are fighting for roster spots at midfield.
Yeah.
Adams is gonna be there. So like let's see what we can do. And this is like a perfect test for Adams with the physicality of Uruguay and Paraguay to like put a stamp on this and be like, hey, this is like we're not a bunch. Like
Yeah.
we can play with in this run up.
Can we win? Can we scrap? Because like Uruguay are like junkyard dogs.
And
Like
Paraguay,
they're very skilled, but they're brawlers.
Yeah.
Like they will get into the trenches with you.
and
Like, I'd be curious to see from that perspective, not just playing and the footy aspect, but like how do we do when we get into like a scrum? How do the boys respond?
and that's where I think the really interesting thing is the forwards because I think that's where like in this call we have Aronson who's been playing great for Leeds, Bolagoon.
He's a little bitch.
Well, no,
When I
no,
think of Brendan
no,
Harrison,
no,
he's just like he's like a cute little boy, like.
but now
And
he's,
if I were to
but
line
he's
him up
playing
against
some
a
gods.
defender from Uruguay, that defender from Uruguay would just shred him to pieces. You know what I
Let's
mean?
see. Let's see. Look,
Let's
this is
yeah, but yeah,
this is
let's see.
this is the that's what I'm saying. Like him, Bolagoon, Luna, Pepe, and Haji Wright. Like this is a who's gonna make the team at forward right now, and this is probably like fairly close to what you're gonna see at the World Cup of like all the positions. The forward is like okay, this could be the five forwards that Pulisic is gonna make the team, but like these forwards are all fighting
Oh, yeah.
for spots. Like how do you do?
Haji Wright, Pepe, Balogun. Those are three dudes that are like they're almost earmarked
So,
right now.
but show me against a physical team. Score against a
Yes.
physical team that's gonna muck it up with you. And like Aronson and Luna, this is your chance to show that you can score against or you can perform against a type of team that we're gonna have to play in the tournament, right? So I think this is where I'll be focused, like very closely. Like I said, the other positions, I think it's like again Morris and Tessman at midfield will be interesting. I think Adams is on the team and everyone else is off the team at midfield. Defender, it feels like most of that is set. But how do those guys perform against two very good teams? And then again, forwards, how do they? Who's gonna like take the step forward at that position and be like, I'm on the team? And you mentioned three guys that are probably on the team, and then Aronson and Luna are fighting for those last forward spots? Like, can one of them step up and be like, I'm on the team. This is like, I'm on the team. Or is it like, ooh, this is not the style? And so, if we get into a group with some physical teams, like, ooh, Aronson and Luna can't be on the team.
Yeah, because you just got mauled by the Guais.
Yeah.
In the Guai break, international break, you got manhandled. So therefore, like, not going to cut it. And Luna looks the part. He just, let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
I'm sort of out on Luna, but I mean, I'm obviously if someone's going to step up and play well, I mean, we're all for that. So if he steps up and plays well, I'm happy with it.
I'm out on Luna too. It just feels like Potch really wants to be in on Luna. And so that's I feel like it's Luna or Zendejas for like that undersized role kind of, and I'm leaning more towards Zendejas. I feel like he's more of a dog and like more physical than Luna, but Pochettino just keeps putting Luna into these situations. So he sees something, and I'm just like trying to see what he sees, but I don't see it. So I'm out right now on Luna, but I'm like, I don't want to be out. Like, if Luna's awesome, I want him to be awesome.
I don't want to be out on anybody, but like, I just don't, like, I've seen a lot, and I'm just not. It's like, okay, yeah, you can do one thing against Guatemala, but like, look, we got to do this against Paraguay, against Uruguay, against Ecuador, like against these teams. You got the Korea, like those are the ones we got to beat, and then you get it. Then let's say we advance and we get a tough matchup. Then it's a knockout round and anything goes. But group play, you got to be able to perform at a high level against any team, and I just don't. He just comes across like very ferrety. It's not like this. He's not this creative force that he's sort of propped up to be, like this 10 who buzzes and connects and does all these things. He just sort of, I don't know, doesn't. But I will say, I'm liking the games that we're playing, like Korea and Japan. Those are decent tests. Ecuador, good test. Australia, no, but like whatever. You got to beat those teams. We beat them. Paraguay, Uruguay, like those are good. Because in the past we played like Uzbekistan. Like, I don't know, we played like weird games. I like these games we're playing.
These are all World Cup teams. Like like I'm pretty sure Australia's qualified for the World Cup.
They probably have.
Yeah, and then I think both of the Guais are in, and South Korea and Japan are definitely in, and I'm 90% sure Ecuador is in as well. So it's really good scheduling, and it's all really different. Like, it's different styles of, like, obviously South Korea and Japan are going to play a different style than the Guais, right? Which is, we need that. Like, we need to test ourselves against different styles of play. So I like this. I agree with you. I really like the scheduling over the last 3 international breaks.
They're proper tests. They're not just like these pushover games to win like morale boosts. Like, we get that enough in CONCACAF. We don't need that. We need to play the hardest teams out there, outside of our normal Gold Cup qualifying in a normal cycle. We're not hosting those games that we get. It's almost like because of we don't have to qualify, neither does Canada, neither does Mexico. I have not paid attention at all to the qualifiers for CONCACAF. Like, I don't even know who's doing what.
That's what I actually started doing this in like the last international break.
Suriname.
Yeah, but the thing is that there's a lot of game, like they're only like basically halfway through the what is the hex, I guess, and so they have the next 2 games will be very telling for CONCACAF qualifying in the next international break.
Just looking at these groups, Suriname is top of their group.
Yeah,
Suriname, which were always just the coaching ground for Holland.
Yeah.
To get all their best players was from Suriname. Suriname never really had like a team, so that's kind of cool that they're Suriname, Panama on 6, Guatemala 5, El Salvador 3, Curacao, Jamaica 9, Curacao 8. And these are some of the teams that have good like Little League World Series teams.
Yeah. Curacao. They won a couple titles.
Yeah, and then we got the Group C: Honduras 8, Costa Rica 6, Haiti 5, Nicaragua. Yeah, we'll see who comes out of that.
So yeah, so I just looked all six of the teams. So like Australia, Japan, South Korea, Ecuador, Uruguay, and Paraguay all have already qualified for the World Cup. So smart,
Okay, yeah,
smart
so
schedule.
good World Cup battle tests.
I was saving this for the next one, but I'm gonna bring it up now because we were just kind of going through the numbers and like seeing like, oh, Concacaf, what's left in Concacaf doesn't feel so great if you ask me. Um, but the like CONMEBOL, right? They only get 6 spots plus one qualifying spot for. And I know it's like a smaller federation, but like that seems light to me compared to like the Asia Federation in Australia gets 8 plus 1. So like they get potentially 9 spots, and the South Americans get potentially 7, and then Concacaf gets 6 autos and 2 potential playoff spots. So potentially 8 teams from Concacaf, which just feels
Which it's like half of CONCACAF is the islands. You know, it's
like Curacao. Like we should not, as a federation, be getting as many or more than South America. And like I get. I guess I looked at it and really only Chile is the one South American team who was like shocking to me that they didn't make it. So I guess a good percentage of them still make it, but yeah, like Bolivia.
yeah, I guess for them, somebody has to not qualify.
Yeah.
I mean, so let's so Paraguay. Looking at the points, 28 points.
Yeah.
So they're already Paraguay's in, Brazil,
Colombia,
Colombia, Ecuador, Argentina, all in. And now it's between Bolivia and Venezuela.
Yeah, I think Bolivia is in the playoff. I think they're done, and Bolivia is in the
Oh,
intercontinental.
they're already finished.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. Which is why that's why
Bolivia
all those.
usually,
Yeah, that's why all those teams are. That's why like we're playing Ecuador, Uruguay, and Paraguay because they don't have any more qualifying.
oh, yes, yeah, of course, duh, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, they're already done.
Uh,
So then Bolivia is probably going to play like an Asian team.
they
Qualify.
might.
That's usually the case.
I don't know who they play, but we'll do this now because we're already here. Oceania is a region now. They get a 1+1, so New Zealand has qualified, and in the intercontinental playoff is soccer power New Caledonia. New Caledonia.
Where is that?
I mean,
I
it's gotta
know.
be an island off of New Zealand, somewhere in Oceania.
Yeah.
Uh,
It is. It's a French territory out there, like by Vanuatu. Like it's probably more surfers on there than there are soccer players.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. But anyway, so New Caledonia is in the Intercontinental Playoff with Bolivia. The Asia and Australia, they have 8 have qualified, and then they have there's a playoff. So Japan, South Korea, Iran, Jordan, Australia, Uzbekistan, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia have all made it. Uzbekistan and Jordan are making their World Cup debuts, and then United Arab Emirates is playing Iran in the playoff to see who makes the Intercontinental Playoff out of that one. That's a spicy one.
Oh man.
That's a spicy one. No comment necessary beyond that one. In Africa, we have Egypt, Cape Verde Islands, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Ghana, South Africa, Senegal, and Ivory Coast who have qualified. Tunisia, interesting. In their 10 qualifying games, 9 wins and a draw. So they are buzzing. The Tunisians. Look out for them next summer. The playoffs, which will be 4 teams. So they have one intercontinental playoff spot, and these 4 teams play a bracket. I believe Gabon plays Nigeria, and then the Democratic Republic of Congo plays Cameroon, and then those 2 winners play each other for a playoff spot, for the intercontinental playoff spot. which would then bring us to that would be they'll have a playoff spot. New Caledonia will have a playoff spot. Bolivia will be a playoff. UAE or Iran will be a playoff, and then two from CONCACAF will be in the playoffs. So there'll be three spots available from the playoffs. Yeah, and then I don't know. Maybe I think then UEFA gets 16 in, and that's still kind of a mess because they've got games left and all that stuff. So.
Well, then you get into this like Sweden will finish bottom of their group, but they won the Nations League group, and so therefore they get a playoff spot. You're like, correct. Oh god, okay.
Yeah, that all has to play out, and then which will happen in the next international break, and then we'll have more clarity. Basically, my cheat sheet on UEFA just says 16 spots. Check back in later.
Yeah, we'll get there. The fun ones are the other ones because those are like just different names and whatnot. Yeah. Europe is like, it's tried, it's true. Like we know all them. We're very familiar. But if you get the New Caledonias of the world getting a sniff at the World Cup, you're like, okay, all right.
Cape Verde Islands, Tunisia.
Yeah, Cape Verde Islands.
The Uzbeks making their debut with the Jordanians. Like,
could you imagine the Uzbeks versus Cape Verde Island? Like, wow. And then you bought one of those RTB tickets, and that's the game that you get.
or you buy the venue. You just like, I'm gonna just buy like game 2 in LA, and it's Uzbekistan versus Cape Verde Islands. You're just like, whoa, what happened here? It's at SoFi. It's at like a 90,000 capacity arena at SoFi Stadium.
And those two countries couldn't even fill the stadium if you wanted.
I'm curious, like, what is New Caledonia's population? I bet it's like under 200,000.
It's probably let's look it up. Look up
Cape Verde Islands population 500,000.
Good for them.
And then Uzbekistan's population is they have a lot of people. Uzbekistan has a lot of people. They have almost 18 million people. Good for them.
New Caledonia 292,000.
Yeah. So like the entire country could almost fit into SoFi Stadium.
Do you remember when North Korea qualified for a World Cup? And obviously their fans aren't allowed to go.
Yeah.
So they hired a bunch of Chinese guys to dress up like fans. That doesn't get talked about enough. It's just like, look at all the North Korean fans. It's like, they were Chinese and they were hired to pretend.
Yeah, unbelievable. But we will give you more on the international break when we do our full international break pod, which I'm saying we're going to do because I think it'll be actually fun. We can go through everything. But our last segment of the day is our prediction of the week. I know you teased yours, but we have this week just the game of the week. I guess there are two potential games of the week, depending on where you want to look. It either is the first or last game of the game week. It is either Spurs United, which kicks off at the early time of 4:30 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, or you can wait all the way until Sunday as they're at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, where Man City hosts Liverpool. So, obviously, those are the two marquee games, but if you want to make a prediction on something else, you are more than welcome to do so. I am looking.
I'm going to say Brentford. I say Brentford beat Newcastle.
Brentford beat Newcastle?
There's obviously Spurs, Man United. There's Man City, Liverpool. I feel like Brentford at home, they are... I don't know, they just got something like a very stingy group, and Newcastle feels like they can show that they're showing up in Champions League and like getting results there, and then they're starting to lapse in Gordon is getting subbed off at like 30 minutes into a game. Voltamada, whatever he's the German pirate. He's getting subbed off early. Like I feel like they started really like coming out of the gates with Liverpool, and I think they are losing steam rather quickly. So I'm gonna go say Brentford win that one 2-1. That's my that's my pick. I mean, obviously I'm very interested in the Man City Liverpool. I'm very interested in Spurs United, but that one to me stands out as like potential upset on paper.
I don't have a lot of like bold predict like it doesn't feel like bold anything bold would come out of like Spurs United or City Liverpool. It's like whatever you pick, like that's a reasonable unless you pick like 6-0 somebody, it's a reasonable prediction. So my like surprise pick of the week is gonna be Sunderland Arsenal draw. I think Sunderland are going to get a result at home against Arsenal. I mean, if you're playing your cards, it's either 0-0 or 1-1. But I think that's my
Better be
prediction.
zero.
What?
Better be 0-0.
Yeah, that's well. I'm making that prediction. I'm also considering bringing in Saka, which doesn't seem smart. If I think that's what's going to actually happen, and I bring in Saka for that one. But I think Sunderland they're better than people think. It's at home. It's at the Stadium of Light, which I think is still the best nickname for any stadium in the Premier League. The Stadium of Light, and yeah, I think that they're gonna. I like that they're in the Prem. Sunderland feels like a team that belongs in the Prem, and I hope they keep getting results so they can keep them up in the Prem.
Did you watch them at all against Everton?
I didn't. No, I missed it.
That game was I was working, but I was watching a little bit. That game was on fire. Like they were going end to end at it. Like it was intense. Like Sunderland at home,
Yeah.
they bring something special. Like
Well,
that team felt like everything they have going there. Like there's something special in the water because like they were at it. And I was like, man, this game on paper is just an absolute wash, but they are battling their asses off.
and it's
Yeah,
also it's Shaka against his former team. Like the prediction of the week might be Shaka a goal and red card. Shaka scores a goal against his former team and also spikes somebody and gets a red card.
like
Yeah.
and also I feel like a random prediction is that Erling Holland throws Kanate across the field and slots one home at some point, or he spins him into the ground. Yep.
Or yeah, or you get like a Doku like past the wing because Liverpool's cheating up and he's isolated with Kanate and Kanate just eats it with Doku's speed, just crosses him over and he just tumbles over.
It's also a fun one to watch, like watching Kanate just get
Yeah, that's yeah.
every single.
Good. I mean, some very actually like intriguing matchups this week. Just not like a lot of like like you said the the team that I would you're looking at the sheet like the team you target is probably Wolves, Chelsea Wolves. But then like who on
Yeah,
Chelsea do you? I mean, Caicedo, Enzo. Like oh man, Enzo. I can't.
Eto's flagged.
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah, do you go Estevao and hope that
He's
he
even
like
starting though.
that's the thing? Like they have you can't, it's so hard to pick Chelsea because they have so many people. You have no idea who's going to show up on any given game. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's crazy. There are a lot of good games this week because like a Forest and a Leeds, like they're in the same
Yeah.
like area, right? You got a Everton, Fulham, they're the same. West
Palace,
Ham, Burnley. There's a lot of what we would call like a 6-pointer. There's like a lot of 6-pointers in this game week.
Palace, Brighton. That's like a big like that. Those two teams could be fighting for Europe, like that the Europa League next year.
Yeah,
Like Villa, Bournemouth. Like if Villa
right.
want to get back in the race, they got to win that game, and if Bournemouth want to stay like keep their trajectory up,
Yeah,
they got to get a result there too. So yeah, no, a lot of
right.
like
And then
really,
Spurs United,
yeah,
like same. Liverpool,
really,
Man City, same. It's like this is the game week of all of the like the most even matchups out there outside of Chelsea Wolves.
and then Sunderland, Arsenal, right? Like that's
All in
yeah,
Arsenal, yeah. Those are the two that throw it all off.
yeah.
But the
But
rest are like
the
boom,
other
boom.
the
Like
other 8 are bangers, like bangers only this week. This should be a good if if you have a spot on the couch and you can just kind of post up for 5 hours a day on Saturday and Sunday, it's a good week to do that.
Yeah, Sunday will have to be the day. We got Sebi's for a little LAFC team. We got our last game of the season.
Good luck. Maybe that's the prediction. Sebi marks. Maybe two for Sebi this week.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He's a 4.5 midfielder, and maybe he'll bag one. This is the year
It's
of
the
the
year
four
of the
five.
4-5. Nice. Yeah.
We're on a 3-game win streak to close out the season, so I'm hoping we can finish strong.
All right. I love
Boys
it.
are the boys are playing well. We turned a corner.
That's what I love to hear.
Oh,
That is what I love to hear.
we're back on the next pod.
Anything else, Mr. Schwartz?
No, that was it. Dodgers, amazing. Let's go out with that, and we could talk about our LAFC, but we don't play for 2 weeks, so there's no point. Go Dodgers! What an incredible series. We could do a whole pod on just like a Dodgers one.
That's where I was. That's why I missed the Everton game. I was at the rally at the stadium on Monday.
Oh man,
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
that's it. I think we got a lot of fun stuff to watch. We got a lot of fun stuff to report on, and like the global game in itself for us to recap next week. So that's all for us, boys, ladies, and whoever else
Wait,
is watching.
hold on. Like, comment, subscribe. It'll get our numbers up. Get our numbers up. and with
Alrighty.
that, we are signing off. Good night, guys.